Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as requested by all of you, I'm posting all the detailed full-length tutorials for my JoyTangle series, which is a 25-day Christmas-themed Zentangle challenge that I recently hosted on my social media platforms. And I had created a list of 25 different prompts for all the 25 days of the challenge. And today I am posting the video for day 15 of this challenge. And the prompt for day 15 was intersection. So yeah, let's dive into my project. So for this particular project, I decided to use intersection all over my tile, and I wanted it to basically act as a string instead of being a filler tangle. So here you can see me drawing the base structure for intersection and actually dividing my tile into 8 sections, the way intersection works. And basically these are these intersecting lines which then create 8 separate elements. Honestly, you can create so many more sections, it doesn't have to be 8, but for the purpose of today's project I'm basically sticking to these standard 8 sections. And as always, if you're interested to check out the step outs for the tangles that I'm going to be using in the project, then you will find the links for that in the description box below, along with the names of the creators and other details. So yeah, once I was done with the base structure, I went back in and decided to aura those sections. And this was to basically create space for another tangle that I'm going to be adding in a few minutes. So you'll actually see me doing that in a bit. But while I was creating those auras, I came up with this idea to actually color them in, because I realized that I want intersection to act as my focal tangle, which means that it needs to actually stand out and pop out against the rest of the tangles that I'm going to add here. And using this nice inky patch of color basically will help me to create more emphasis on the tangle, and it'll make it stand out a little bit better, which is why I decided to go for this. And of course, there are so many other ways in which you can bring emphasis to an element in your drawing, but this is the method that I chose for this particular project. And once that was done, I actually went back in with my thinner pens and decided to add Betweed as my filler tangle over here. And for this, I actually went and alternate with my red pen as well as my green pen. And again, I mean, you don't really have to go alternate. I just decided to do this because I was having fun with my project. I had different colors and I wanted to use them. So I was like, hey, why not? Let's try them. So that's what I did. And yeah, so you'll basically see me drawing that for the next few seconds. One thing that I really love about Betweed is that the line weight at the end is inherent to the tangle itself, in the sense that it doesn't act as a separate tangle enhancer over here. It's just basically part of the steps of the tangle. And that really attracts me to Betweed as a tangle, because anything to do with bright inky pops of color in your drawing, or anything where I can create more saturated areas of color, well, I'm a total sucker for stuff like that. So yeah, give me an opportunity to lay down more ink on paper and I will grab it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love working with Betweed. And yeah, talking of inky pops of color, once I had that in place, then I went back in and started to add some aura lines inside and then fill them in. So in places where I had created Betweed with a red pen, I went back in with my green pen and created these aura lines and filled them in. And again, doing the opposite in the other sections. So places where I had created Betweed with the green pen, I went back in with my red pen over there in those sections and just created an aura and filled them in. And you can probably make out why I did that, because I have already completed 3 sections with the gold lines to show you the final result. It can seem a little crazy as to why I'm going back and forth between the colors, which is why I was like, hey, let me actually show them some of the finished sections so that they can actually make out what I'm trying to tell them. So yeah, I'm basically trying to achieve the look which I have created in those 4 sections or 3 sections over there. So you're basically doing the same steps but in opposite colors. So yeah, that's what I did over there. And then yeah, once those alternate sections of auras and Betweed were done, then I went back in with my gold pen and just covered up all the white spaces. Again, I want to use less of the paper white over here and more of the ink from my pens. And I want to use white just as a decorative element because I want this to be a nice color heavy tile. So I'm going to be using white in a bit as an embellishment over here. And yeah, so once the gold was done, as I mentioned, I brought back the white and I started to add in these little dots or orbs, which are basically just going to act as decorative motifs or just like filler elements or just embellishments, whatever you want to call them. They're basically just like these tiny orbs on top of those colored patches. All right, so once the white dots were done, I went back in with my red pen and my green pen and I colored all of those white sections. And again, I went alternate, red, green. And I purposely did that because, again, I wanted more focus and more emphasis to be on the prompt tangle, which was intersection. And Betweed was basically the secondary tangle over here, but the primary tangle or the focal tangle was supposed to be intersection. And I wanted that to be highlighted nicely. And I wanted that to sort of pop off the page or stand out from the tile basically. So yeah, just to create some emphasis, I just added a little bit more color over there. And yeah, I'm sorry it's a little bit out of focus, but I think as always, I don't know, moved my camera stand a little bit or something happened. So the focus shifted, but hopefully you can still make out what I'm doing. Once those sections were colored in, I went back in with my gold pen and just added in some dots to those dark green areas. And with the white pen, I added in some tiny dashes and some curvy lines and dots to those red and green areas. So, as I always say, these are little final touches which are very personal and very intuitive. If you feel like you want to add them, then go for it. And if you feel like you want to avoid them and your tile was basically finished a few moments back, then that's totally fine too. All of these are personal choices. These are based on your personal aesthetic and your personal Zentangle style, so to say. So yeah, it's totally your call whether you want to do them or not. And yeah, that is our finished tile. I love how the gold is shining on this one. So after I removed the washi tape, this was the final look of the tile. And yeah, absolutely love the way this one turned out. This project was actually not very time consuming because there were very few steps involved in this one. And I like that in the course of the 25 days of the challenge, I created some tangles which were simple, but some which were slightly more complicated. So there was a nice balance of ornate, organic, intricate tangles, as well as some light, airy, more sort of playful tangles. So there was a nice mix of tangles basically. And yeah, if you are interested to check out all the 25 days of the challenge, and if you want to see and follow along all the 25 projects, then don't forget to check out the JoyTangle playlist, which is now available on my channel, and it has all the 25 projects from this particular challenge. And as always, if you have any suggestions or feedback on the kind of videos you'd like me to make or any specific tangles you want me to cover, then please put that in the comments box below, and I would love to make videos based on your requests. So yeah, I will be back with my day 16 video very soon. Till then, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and keep creating.